Did you see the shocking NBA news? I don't know how they kept this secret. There were no whispers. There was no NBA centel. We all just kind of thought that maybe Damian Lillard would get a surgery, and if he makes a decision, it's closer to camp. But out of nowhere, Damian Lillard, he Twitter dismay, by the way, decides he's going to go back to Portland. You want to talk about a nice story? That is a wonderful bow on his career. He's going to make a decent amount of money for a guy his age coming off of that injury. And Portland gets to have their legend back at a steep discount from what it would have been had they caved and given him his contract. And you want to talk about consensus where everyone is on the same side? I think even Heat fans would say that of all the destinations that Damian Lillard could go to, this is the one that makes everybody happy.
I think it's an awesome story. It reminds me a little bit, obviously, of when Dwayne Wade got traded back here after being in Chicago and then Cleveland, where it just didn't work out.
I don't think that happened. Neither of those two things happened.
But going
Rocky V.
Going to Milwaukee and having that
Rocky V.
experience, obviously, look, the guy they're getting back here is not the same guy that they would have been signing to the contract. It's several years later, post-Achilles injury. It's a different thing than continuing to pay him to be there and mentor those guys for the last couple of years. At the same time, they're in a decent enough spot now. Yang Han-sen, that guy has an opportunity to be really special if they can find a way to put that together. His touch as a passer is
big tariff.
Crazy in the summer league, but it's pretty cool to see him go back. Like, you love those storybook endings for superstars, and it did not look like that was what was going to get to happen for Damian Lillard. He was going to sign somewhere that would have been another destination, rehab for a year, maybe end up as, a guy off the bench for some other franchise. And who knows, maybe that's what he ends up doing in Portland. But to have an opportunity to kind of repair whatever hurt was there and go back to a fan base that just loves him, it's special. I'm certainly really happy for him.
I think Hawk's going to have a unique perspective here because, well, I'm sure, and we know Damian from his playing days, absolute killer, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think he's signing up with Portland to be like, okay, we'll be a fringe play-in team as I wind down my career, and I'll be just uber popular, and I'll be ceremonial, and it'll feel a lot like D. Wade back in Miami. And people forget D. Wade was pretty good that last hurrah. They were pesky. They would have gotten into a play-in if the play-in was around back then, and he probably would have had one last go. But it seems like a guy that is totally comfortable with his legacy. He made it to one Western Conference Finals. He tried to do the ring-chasing thing with Milwaukee. Well, initially with Miami. Didn't get – the thing that does irk me is you're like the first superstar that didn't get his way, that tried this. Like, you made it very clear you wanted to go to Miami, and they sent your ass to Milwaukee. You hated it, and now you're coming back to Portland after they treated you that way. That's the only thing that kind of like, and that's a Heat fandom perspective on this. I'm like, what did they do to you that made you think that going back was the brightest of ideas? But he has obvious ties to this place, and like I said, it seems like a guy that is very comfortable with his legacy. I don't think an NBA championship is in the cards for Portland over this contract's full term. He is going there to ride out the end of his career, make the most of it. Certainly not punting on being competitive. That's not how he's built.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like it's the most important thing. He tried ring chasing. He wasn't happy.
Yeah,
he wants
sucks,
to go
man.
back to his happy place. And you're a guy that went to training camp with the greatest dynasty of the modern era.
Yeah, man.
In the New England Patriots.
I'm a legend in that way. Played with some of the GOATs.
You had
Gronkowski, heard of him? Tom Brady. Are any of these names familiar to you guys? I'm getting worked up over here. No, I think for him it was more of it's a comfort thing, man. When you go, it sucks going to new teams. Like, even for NFL players, I know it's like business-like, especially when you're in a place that became home. You know the front office people, the social media people, the people that work at the stadiums. You bought your first house here. You kind of became an adult in this place. The streets, the stores that you like, the coffee shops and the places you like to eat. And then you're going to a new team, and you got to relearn all of that.
And there were places like that in Cleveland.
And there were places like that in
good
Cleveland.
places.
Yeah, there were great places. And I love Cleveland. That was like
Milan of the Midwest.
I loved and that's why I'm looked at as an Ohio guy because I bounced around there so much in so many places that I did feel
Rocket.
And honestly, in
Cincinnati.
free agency, I was like, I want to go to Cleveland because I don't want to leave Ohio. I like it here. I've been here. I'm good here. And then after Cleveland, it was like, okay, there's a rebuild, and we're gonna suck. We already sucked. We're gonna suck even more.
You won one game in 2 years,
and it got worse.
And
which is crazy.
wait, we're gonna get worse.
Yeah, like, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
All right, so you made the decision. You were a really productive player. You made a lot of money in the league.
I have my money, and I'm like, okay, I'm on the other side of 30. I'm not going to continue to increase my money. And that's kind of where Dame Lillard is. It's like once you are no longer getting more money, now you're looking for, okay, let me get to a comfortable place where I can do the best I can in places where I feel comfortable because I don't feel like learning a new place and system and people. And so I went to New England, but I didn't want to go to New England at first. Like New England, I would have stayed in New England, which I retired early. I would have stayed if the contract wasn't like a minimum deal. It was like, oh, this ain't worth it. I made X amount. And now I'm here, and I don't like it. So there wasn't a money incentive for me to stick around.
To tough it out.
I would have went to Cincinnati, and I told my agent, I was like, yo, call Cincinnati. Cincinnati was so pissed because the way I left there for Cleveland and didn't tell anybody in restricted free agency, they had no idea like what was going on behind the scenes where I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here, and I'm going to figure this out. And I did it, and that's like their rival. And they were so pissed about it, they were like, yeah, nah, it ain't happening. Like, piss off. Like they felt betrayed by what I did, so it wasn't a thing. But really, I told my agent, I was like, if I can't go play at Cincinnati, I need to go somewhere where I could at least try to get a ring, or I'm gonna call it up. Like it's one of those places. Chicago offered me, they were gonna pay me triple what New England was gonna pay me. They're like, just come visit. And I was like, no, I don't want to go play in Chicago. No disrespect to Chicago, but like I told you, I didn't feel like going to a new environment where there was no upside, like learning new people, all this, and we're still not going to be good.
It's
going to be another lateral move, you know.
Triple the money, though. I mean,
triple the money New England was giving me, which was minimum.
You could tough it out for a year.
Nah, man, I couldn't. I had to get started on this budding media career.
You could have done both.
Podcasts were waiting.
Chicago's a big city. You could have done a podcast at the house.
It's too cold, man.